Hello and welcome to another video by TR Data. Today we're going to work on a Samsung Galaxy S4 glass screen replacement. Actually, it's just the outer glass in front of the LCD screen. We have a Samsung Galaxy S4 that was dropped kind of right on its face. The small rubber protector didn't help that much at all. I do recommend on some of the higher dollar phones. It's not very fashionable, but the outer boxes are definitely a good idea. Helps protect the screen from a lot of falls. Not all of them. I have replaced screens from devices that have fallen out of outer boxes, but it does help. Make sure that on any device that you work on that you power it down. Remove the battery and the SIM card. Certainly don't want it accidentally turning on when you're working on it. Some machines, if you remove the screen, the LCD actually, and it's being worked on, you can damage the device or short the device out, so be careful. Remove the battery, slip the SIM card out, and you're ready to turn the device over and start working on it. A couple tools that you'll need is a pry tool, heat gun or hair dryer, spacers, lint-free cloths, alcohol, and some. This is my pry tool. I use that on almost everything that I have, and my heat gun. I'm going to start with those two devices. You want to warm your screen up where it's not too terribly hot, but it's good and warm to the touch. That will loosen the adhesive. I'm going to speed the film up a little bit here because you don't need to be watching me doing this for days. Heat the screen up till it's nice and warm to the touch, and that will help free the glue that's on the side. Once that's done, you can get in with your pry tool carefully on the edge here and start working it up and along the sides. Try not to insert the pry tool too far in unless you know for sure what is or what is not in there. We will start from the top where the ear speaker is and work our way down. The bottom of the screen has a couple buttons stuck to it. That's your back and your menu button. And you want to kind of clamshell the screen open. I'm using guitar picks for spacers. Thank you, Guitar Center, for your generous donation. And when I get a little bit of a gap there, I'll gently insert a guitar pick, and that'll keep it from sticking back down again. And I'll keep working around the top, doing a little separation here, and inserting another guitar pick. Now, if you look closely at the video, you'll actually see the screen is adhered to the LCD with some optically clear adhesive. And when I start prying up on a little bit, you'll see that separating. We're going to speed it up a little bit here again. But you'll see that separating out away from the glass. Like right there in the corner, you'll see it pull away from it. Now the clear adhesive is sticking to the LCD, so it's still on there. We'll remove that later. But for now, we can just see the adhesive release. We're going to work around the device slowly, keeping the screen nice and warm to help that adhesive release. And work as much of it off in one solid piece as you can. Do be careful. Do wear eye protection when you're doing this. You will often have small shards of glass come flying up in your face if you're not careful. And we'll continue to work down, putting spacers where necessary. And I get close to the bottom here. And I'm not going to go around the corner just yet. You'll see why shortly. We're going to keep the glass nice and warm. And there again, you see the adhesive peeling away from the glass. This side has a lot of breaks in it, and as you tend to pull away, it makes it even where it breaks into smaller pieces. So I did have to change cameras here. My one battery ran out, so you'll see I have a lot more guitar picks on that cutaway than I had on the one before. So I do apologize for that. But we're going to continue carefully around the outside, and you'll see we're even with the broken glass, we're gently pulling that glass away from the LCD and the adhesive that's sticking the two together. Applying a little more heat. It doesn't take a whole lot. Now I'm starting to pull up and clamshell the glass away from the LCD, being very careful when I get to the end here. I want to keep some heat on it. Again, as I said, the back on the button on the right of the bottom and the menu button are stuck to the screen. So I want to make sure that I loosen up that glue so that it will release when I get to it. You'll notice that I'm very careful when I'm pulling it up. You don't want to tear those buttons off of there. You do want to be very, very careful. I'm holding it down with one finger as I bring it up. The glass is nice and warm, so the adhesive is releasing without too much difficulty. If you need to reheat on the outside of the glass, do not blow hot air into that little crevice. It will tend to accumulate. It can do some damage to the internal components. And those are released. I'm going to carefully pull the glass away from the body of the phone. And there we go. Cleaning up my work area a little bit. And discarding the old display, the old screen, pardon me. Now what we have left is a bunch of tiny little glass shards on the LCD stuck to the adhesive. Adhesive strips around the outside. We want to make sure to get that very clean. That is critical. Cleanliness cannot be understated here or overstated. If there are strips of adhesive along the side, the new glass will not seat properly on the frame. So we'll take plenty of time to clean that. Also, you want to be very careful when you remove the adhesive from the LCD itself. You don't want to press down too hard. Certainly don't want to crack or damage the LCD when you get to that point. But removing all the loose adhesive, making sure all the surfaces are clean. And then just start with my finger. You can do it without a rubber glove. I like to do the rubber gloves. It does make it easier later. You're not getting all the oil from your fingers on there. And again, cleanliness cannot be overstated here. If you need to, you can warm the adhesive up a little bit. That'll come up a little bit easier than I just kind of let it cool down and got wrapped up into shooting the video here. Or otherwise I would have warmed it up a little bit more. And you just carefully pull the adhesive off with your finger. It'll start lumping up as you see the pile of almost a silicone type of optically clear adhesive. Now that I have that all removed, I'm going to very carefully and apparently quickly clean the LCD. First you use just a regular rag. I do use isopropyl alcohol. You want to use a 93% or better. The more alcohol in it, the easier it'll help release the adhesive and the optically clear adhesive on there. I've heard some people use WD-40 to help dissolve that adhesive. I hear that works. I've not done it myself, so I don't know that I could recommend doing it. You notice also that I've taken the home button off the bottom. That just basically falls right off. Set it off to the side. I don't want to pop it up or lose it, have it flip onto the LCD and scratch the LCD. I'm using another tool here, just a little spudger tool to get into the corners, but whatever you've got to get in there and to get all that glue out will do well for you. Continuing to work every little piece of schmutz or dirt off of the screen. And once I'm satisfied that I've got most all of it off, I'll go to a lint-free rag, again with a little bit of alcohol on it, and very completely clean that LCD. If there's dust, dirt, fingerprints, anything left on that, that will show. So once I'm satisfied that I've gotten the screen pretty clean, I'll take, that's my 2mm 3M adhesive. Make sure that I'm setting it as close to the edge or right on the edge I don't want it to fold over the edge because then the glass won't seat properly. Sorry about the out of frame shot here. I want to make sure I run that adhesive all the way around, that I'm adhering it to a clean surface. That is critical. You don't want that glass popping back up on you. You want to make sure you're sealed all the way around. Cutting the tape as needed and pressing it firmly into place. Being careful, of course, around all the internal components. I'll leave the backing on the adhesive until I'm ready to stick the new screen down. Certainly don't want to rub over it with any other cleaning solution, because you do want to run one final pass with cleaning solution before you remove that. Make sure that everything is perfectly clean. And then I'll go forward and start removing the cover on the adhesive. Again, going back, making sure that I'm clean before I do so. The adhesive that I applied around this device is a 2mm adhesive. Along the sides, I'd recommend, if you've not done it before, to use a 1mm. Many of the screens come with their own adhesive. And then I'm starting to lay carefully, after putting the home screen back in place, the home button, pardon me, back in place, just simply put the glass over the top of it again, starting in the top corner and working my way down, pressing it into place. Firm pressure, not too hard, just make sure you seat that adhesive all the way around, and cleaning the phone up nicely. When I get one back to a customer, I try to get it back looking as new as possible. It often, besides just the screen, is in better shape than when it came to me. I'll clean the entire phone, front, back, blow out the inside. When you're finished with the phone, you can reinsert the SIM card and the battery and place the back cover in, pressing all the way around to make sure that seats properly as well. And turn the phone on to test it. The Samsung glass is only a protective covering for the phone. The digitizer and the LCD are one piece, so the glass can be purchased fairly inexpensively on a number of sources. The phone's working beautifully, cameras are not obstructed, I always test those. We'll go ahead and power the phone back off, and thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Feel free to ask any questions you'd like. Give us a call, email, or leave a message here. Thanks.